Okay then. Alrighty. Alright, puts my music on. But anyway, hello everyone. Hello. Welcome to my 16th episode of my Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles, where I sit right down here and talk about all things Zelda every third day of the month. If you guys were here for last month, I was joined with Bahamut. Bahamut joined me on this podcast, where we both talked about how Tingle is considered to be Zelda's complete joke. We went straight into the lore about Tingle. We talked about like his origins in Majora's Mask and Wind Waker. We did talk about his games as well, even though most of them are completely cursed. But we did talk about them. So if you guys have not checked out that video, be sure to go ahead and check it out. And if you guys are new here to the channel, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing. Definitely subscribe for more content, as it really helps me out, really helps the channel out. But thank you guys so much for being here, but always tuning in to the podcast. So, and also I'm going to be looking at Twitch chat real quick. I see Kai is here. Kai, hello, welcome in. And we got Valkyrie, welcome in, Valk. Welcome in, you two. I hope you two are having an awesome Saturday. Yes, I am surprised. I'm streaming during the day for today. I do have plans tonight, so that's why I moved the podcast to the afternoon rather than at night. Kai says, I just got home for doing a bunch of chores at Leo's place. A good timing. Nice. Well, say hi to Leo for me. I hope Leo is doing well. Good to see everybody doing here. Glad to see you guys coming in. So today's episode, guys, we are going to be analyzing the trailer, what we got recently from the new Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Now, for those of y'all who remember, we did get a Nintendo Direct last month to where they were showing off, to where Nintendo was showing off it's like this Nintendo Switch 2's newest features, what kind of games it could run, how it works compared to the Switch 1, all that stuff. But we did get a bunch of new games coming out, for trailers. We got stuff for the new we got Mario Kart World, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Kirby Air Riders, a bunch more awesome games, but also Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We are getting another Hyrule Warriors game since it's been 4.5 years since Age of Calamity came out. So now we got another one on the way, which, by the way, I am theorizing that it is coming out this year in November. Honestly, perfect timing for Thanksgiving, and definitely around the same time, just like when Age of Calamity came out during COVID. It came out around Thanksgiving. So honestly, that's my guess. I feel like it's going to be a November game. At least that's how I probably see it. So definitely a way to kind of conclude the year, the beginning year of the Nintendo Switch 2. Which, by the way, major disclaimer right now. There is going to be for this discussion, there's going to be major spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom. So if you have not played Tears of the Kingdom and you do not wish to be spoiled, you are welcome to click off this video, click off the stream right now to avoid any spoilers, or to just lurk to avoid spoilers. I promise I'm not trying to kick anybody out. I just don't want to ruin the game for anybody. For those of y'all who are interested in playing Tears of the Kingdom. But I do highly encourage y'all to please play Tears of the Kingdom if you haven't. It's a really great game. I highly encourage you all to play it, because I will be discussing things Tears of the Kingdom. But if you are somebody who is not bothered by spoilers, then awesome. You guys are welcome to stick around. But if you have not played Tears of the Kingdom, I would encourage y'all, for those of y'all watching on YouTube, to please definitely come back to this video immediately after you are done with Tears of the Kingdom, because I definitely would. And also, feel free to share with me your thoughts on you completing Tears of the Kingdom. I definitely would like to know that. I would like to know y'all's thoughts on it. Kai says, I'm happy we're getting a new Hyrule Warriors. I am too. I am definitely excited that we are getting a new Hyrule Warriors game. It is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to play it. And as the Zelda guy, I have to do my job and get everybody here hyped up. I got to get everybody hyped up for this new game coming out. Kai's like totally trying to kick people out. Yes. Yeah, get out of here. All right, but anyway, before we do any to kick things off, obviously you guys know we got to watch the trailer. We got to watch the trailer first. So that is going to be first things first. We are going to watch the trailer and then talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead. So give me 1 second. Let me just go ahead and do that real quick. Let me go ahead and give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So we are going to watch the trailer and then again, we are going to talk about it. So let's watch it. So here we go. Here we go, guys. This is it. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. Let's get right into it. I'm so pumped for this game. Let me know in the YouTube comments if you guys are pumped for this game.
When the Zonai, who descended from the heavens, joined hands with the Hylians, who dwelled on the surface, their union led to a great and prosperous kingdom. But in time, a terrible evil arose. A war was fought to vanquish this evil, one which future generations would call the Imprisoning War.
Perhaps you truly have traveled back in time.
So that's Hyrule Castle? Then that must mean this really is the past.
What an absolute game, man. What a game. I am so pumped. Also, give me 1 second. I need to take care of something real quick. Sorry about that. I have to take care of something very, 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 very important. Alrighty. So, we did watch the trailer. Honestly, there's a lot of good stuff. There is a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff that we definitely did see while watching this trailer. So, let's go ahead and look into it. Let me go ahead and play my music real quick. Okay. Kai says, Daddy Ganondorf, dude, hey, Dad's coming home. That is my own dad. Dude, Dad's coming home. Dude, he is legit coming home with the bacon. Extra bacon on top. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and skip forward to this. Okay. So obviously, we can definitely see right here from the trailer. These are obviously the same hieroglyphics. If you guys remember, at the start of Tears of the Kingdom, to where we had both Link and Zelda actually explore the underground chasm of Hyrule Castle, as they're trying to discover the source of all this gloom that's kind of appearing out of nowhere. And then as they go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, Zelda definitely, she pulls out her pad. She's taking all these photos and looking into it, seeing all the glyphs, and obviously right here we can see, obviously this symbolizes what we believe is King Rauru, and then a bunch of other stuff. Obviously we see the secret stones. There's Rauru and Queen Sonia, and then looking more in depth towards the glyphs themselves. Obviously, this is a reference to Sonia's demise, which, of course, in one of the Dragon tier memories, you guys remember that at Hyrule Castle, Ganondorf kills Queen Sonia, then takes her Secret Stone and uses the power of the Secret Stone to turn into the Demon King Ganondorf. So this definitely is a symbolism for the downfall of Queen Sonia. So we all know that obviously she does die. But obviously there definitely is a lot into it. And I honestly feel that, you know, the game itself is like going to start off mostly probably what we know. And what I mean by that is what we know from the beginning of Breath of the Wild. Now, I feel like, so, to me personally, this is how I feel, the game is probably going to start. Like, when we go, straight into Age of Imprisonment. I feel like it is definitely going to show off what we know, from the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom, where Link and Zelda are exploring the underground chasms of Hyrule Castle. So I definitely want to show it off real quick. Yeah, go in and skip all this. But I feel like we are probably going to get a recap of what we know. Maybe we'll get the same cutscene. Maybe we'll get like a different cutscene from like Link and Zelda's point of view. Okay, there's the one with the glyphs right now. We already saw that. Oh yeah, new game footage. Cool, new game footage. So obviously I feel like that Zelda's gonna definitely talk about like how this leads to the imprisoning war with the glyphs that we saw. But I honestly feel that we're going to get a recap of this scene right here, because this scene definitely is important. That leads to the events of Zelda herself traveling back to the past. So I want to play this real quick. So I feel this is how Age of Imprisonment is going to start. Like a big recap.
Was that the sword that seals the darkness? Blade that shatters so easily against my power cannot save you from me. Zelda. You who carries that fragile sword. A Link. Rauru placed his faith in you. And that was all you could do.
How do you know our names?
And so it begins. Hyrule Castle is now rising all because of the gloom. Okay. So I think we kind of already have an idea. I think we already have an idea from that. But yeah, I kind of do, I kind of feel there is going to be something going on. I do feel a lot is most likely is going to happen. So I feel that Age of Imprisonment is going to start off like a big, strong recap. Maybe we'll get some new lines, maybe some new scenes or something. But I feel like it's going to start off, once again, just like the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom. We have Link and Zelda explore the underground chasm of Hyrule Castle. Zelda's looking at the glyphs, the hieroglyphs. She's taking pictures of it with her polar pad, theorizing that this could definitely lead to the events of the Imprisoning War. And then definitely we fast forward to Link and Zelda confronting like a mummified Ganondorf, to where we see Rauru's hand kind of like holding him down and trying to seal him away. And then Zelda picks up the Secret Stone. So I feel it's definitely is going to be like a very strong recap. It's going to recap it all. Maybe we'll probably see a new scene, kind of like what happened after Ganondorf fell, when the whole thing started to collapse and Hyrule Castle starts rising up, all because of the gloom. So I feel we probably might get a new scene. But what's important is that Age of Imprisonment is mostly going to lead from Zelda's point of view. I mean, obviously we are familiar in Tears of the Kingdom with Link's point of view, to where, he ends up on the Great Sky Islands. The Master Sword is broken. He definitely wants to find a way to, like, restore it and fix it. And then, obviously, he meets the spirit of Rauru, to where Rauru kind of, like, explains stuff to him, to where Zelda's not here right now. She's still alive and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I feel that Age of Imprisonment is definitely going to dive more as to what we know from the Dragon's Tears in Tears of the Kingdom. Like the memories we see through the Dragon's Tears. I feel like there is definitely is going to be more to it. There's a lot more. There's going to be a lot more to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the trailer. I'm going to go back to the trailer for Age of Imprisonment. Okay, so obviously we see this scene right here. This is definitely one from the first piece of memory of the Dragon Seer, to where Zelda actually has the Secret Stone that she got from the underground chasm of Hyrule Castle. And it was because of that Secret Stone, to where Zelda winds up back in time. Way back in the time, and mostly in Hyrule's past. So we definitely like see right here, like, she definitely confronts both King Rauru and Queen Sonia, and she's in her original attire. Definitely just like how, now she is in her first piece of memory where, she's asking herself, like, where am I? How did I get here? How are y'all here? Who are you? Like, how is Rauru and Sonia the king and queen of Hyrule Castle in the Hyrule in the past? So I feel like it's gonna go more into depth detail. There's gonna be a lot more depth details about this, and like this right here, this is definitely like a new scene. This is definitely like similar to one of the ones we saw with the Dragon Tears, where Zelda like introduces herself to Rauru and Sonia, and then like Sonia definitely learning that Zelda herself is a descendant. So I feel like it's gonna go more into details about that. But what I want to talk about real quick is this part right here. So honestly, we know from right here, this scene right here. This is definitely not like cutscene footage. This is not cutscene footage. This is actual legit gameplay footage. So I kind of think like, I wonder if in Age of Imprisonment, like way before like Zelda and Rauru and Sonia definitely start locking into battle, I wonder if we are going to get free roaming. Because obviously we all know, like, in Hyrule Warriors, you know, we had a lot of, like a lot of free roaming, like, throughout the battlefield, to where it's like, oh, you can go from this area to this area, go fight these monsters here, go help this person out. So I kind of feel like like, just by looking at this shot right here, and you just see, like, Zelda just walking and following Rauru and Queen Sonia, I feel there's gonna be some free roaming. Like, we'll probably get to, like, roam around, like, Hyrule of the past for a little bit, way before, like, you know, combat's involved, to where you see Zelda fight bokoblins and moblins and all that kind of stuff. Like, so kind of like transitioning to, like, the opening of, like, levels. That's how I feel it's probably gonna go down. That's how I personally feel like how it is. Like, there's gonna be a lot. I just feel there's going to be some free roaming. And honestly, I think that would be cool. I think that would be, you know, that would be really interesting to have more free roaming, like in between the starting of levels. You know, kind of like how like in Mario Kart World, you guys know, like, they have this new thing to where you can actually drive to the next track, kind of like do like a little free roaming. You know, I feel like it's kind of going to be similar to that, but, like, right here, to where we just see, like, you know, like Rauru, like Zelda following Rauru and Sonia, like, 2 opening levels, like, way before, like, the battle begins. And, like, and obviously we know, like, you know, this obviously isn't going to be the only spot. You know, maybe we'll probably go to, like, maybe, like, in the Gerudo Desert, or maybe somewhere, like, in the Lanayru territory, or Death Mountain, or somewhere. There's gonna be a lot, like, mostly in response to places where Zelda herself has been, based on what we know through the memories of the Dragon Tears. That's what I honestly know what it is. And then right here, obviously we finally get to see, like, a massive glimpse shot of Hyrule Castle. This is the home where Rauru and Queen Sonia live. So now we definitely are familiar. I noticed this tower right here. This little tower on the left. It's just kind of standing out of place. So I'm kind of curious, like, what is the purpose of having this tower right here? I mean, I'm sure it's probably gonna be maybe like a lookout tower or something. But so we do get to see a shot of Hyrule Castle. And one thing I did notice from this shot specifically is that right here, I don't know if you guys can see with my mouse pointing, but right here, this is the same spot where we see Ganondorf come to Hyrule Castle and kill Sonia and take her secret stone, and using its power and channeling it to become Demon King, to become the Demon King. So right here, this is obviously the spot where Queen Sonia dies. So so obviously we are perfectly aware of that. So we are aware of it. Now, this one right here, I definitely want to talk about this one right here, this specific one right here. And I like y'all's thoughts on this. So right here, obviously it says, and I quote, "The story leading into the Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom." Now, can we kind of say that this game is going to be canon? Because here's what I have to say. So, if you guys remember when Age of Calamity came out, they pretty much, the way how the game was marketed was that Nintendo marketed as a way that said a story that led to the events of Breath of the Wild. So it definitely, like, marketed away, like, hey, you know, do you definitely want to know more about the great calamity that happened, you know, like, sometime before, like, you know, Mipha, Rivali, Urbosa, and Daruk passed away? the game is gonna like definitely focus on that. But like that's how Age of Calamity was marketed. And then obviously for those of y'all who have spoiler alerts for those who have played who have not played Age of Calamity. The game definitely focuses on time traveling. Obviously, we are familiar with the little egg guardian, Terraco, to where Terraco definitely travels back into the past in a way to where we get to experience the Great Calamity as more like a what if the champions did not die. So we see stuff like, oh, here comes Sidon helping Mipha fight Waterblight Ganon and a bunch of other stuff like that. So, and I know that, and I feel like a lot of people were disappointed with that aspect, with the whole time traveling thing and all that kind of stuff, and because the game was like marketed saying like, oh, this is a story that is prior into leading towards the events of Breath of the Wild, to where you got to experience the Great Calamity way before the champions died. Right here, this one says right here, the first two words that we see right here says the story. It says the story leading into Tears of the Kingdom. So, honestly, it maybe could be a possibility that this game probably, and I mean probably, might be canon. I honestly don't want to give my hopes up, but there could be maybe a strong possibility that this game probably could be canon, since it says the story instead of it saying a story. So it's definitely just out of the way, like how this game is being marketed right now. But here's to hoping that maybe it probably might be, up and down and all around, thinking about like is this game going to be canon to Tears of the Kingdom? Because again, this game is going to focus more deeply from Princess Zelda's point of view when she is traveling back in time into the past of Hyrule. So it could definitely honestly it raises a lot of questions, just by looking at this sentence right here saying the story. So and honestly, people to this day are probably asking themselves is Nintendo making this canon? Is this game not canon? Is it gonna be marketed in a weird way, kind of like how it was when Age of Calamity first came out? But honestly, it's kind of up there. It's kind of was up there. Yo, Cage fan, welcome in, buddy. Was Age of Calamity canon to Breath of the Wild? No, it was not. No, Age of Calamity is not canon to Breath of the Wild. The way how the game was marketed, it was marketed to where you were saying, this game leads to the events of Breath of the Wild. But the game itself, Age of Calamity, was more like a, what if the champions were not dead? What if they were not dead? They were not dead. They were not dead. They were not dead. Then by that logic, in your prison, I can't. Actually, we don't know that, Cage fan. I already said we don't know that. We don't know that specifically. Right now, we don't know much more about this game since we've only gotten one trailer. Since we've only gotten one trailer, there's honestly little as to what we know so far about this game. So, honestly, I do feel like Age of Imprisonment is going to get more trailers. Kind of like what they did when they were marketing Age of Calamity. To where it's oh, here's a trailer talking about Astor, the Fortune Tower. Here's one that has Suga and Master Koga and the rest of the Yiga clan. So, I feel like, right now, we honestly don't know that answer, whether Age of Imprisonment is canon or not. I mean, of course, I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm not going to jump to conclusions to say that it is not canon, because I'm just reading into what it says right here based on how it is being marketed. So right now we don't know. We don't have the answer yet. We don't have the answer yet as to whether this game is canon whether this game is canon or not. Okay, so we're going to go in and fast forward. Going to fast forward right here. So, one thing I liked right here is by looking at Raoru's weapon. I love that it's a Zonai Spear. It's obviously a Zonai Spear, like kind of like the ones that we've used in Tears of the Kingdom. So, in Tears of the Kingdom, like the aura, like around the little spear right here, the ones that we use in Tears of the Kingdom from Link's perspective is blue. This one is more like a golden yellow. So, but this is without a doubt a Zonai Spear. So Raoru's main weapon is like a Zonai Spear. And honestly, I really do like the Zonai Spear. It's definitely one of my favorite weapons in Tears of the Kingdom. But I really like the golden aspect. So I feel like maybe the reason why it's gold, maybe it's like linked, maybe it's kind of like linked or channeled with a secret stone. I mean, that could probably be a possibility as to why it's gold and not blue. Kind of like how it is for Link. And then right here, obviously, we see like these we see these Bokoblins and boss Bokoblins. There's Hynixes and Style Hynixes. Definitely a lot of enemies that we're familiar with in Tears of the Kingdom. So definitely a lot of familiar enemies, and like obviously like the reason why. Also, one piece of detail that I do want to point out, which I think is really cool, is not only is this land right here, is like we see a lot of gloom coming out, like especially like I believe we see some of the trees like over here, but I really like how there's the blood moon in the back right there. That is a really nice piece of detail to where we actually see the blood moon in the background, like mixing up with all this gloom and the blood moon. I think that's actually is really fucking sick. I think it's actually is really cool. I think it's really cool that we actually have this. Oh, whoa. Okay, I did not mean to click out of it. Okay. So, I really liking the way like how Raoru's gonna play. Obviously, he's definitely going to be a heavy hitter. Oh, but this move right here, kind of like the way like it's like the Zonai Spear is getting thrown. You know, I remember like I kind of was thinking about this when I first saw the trailer for this game. Like kind of like the way like how he throws it and it kind of like spins around. It kind of reminded me of the way like how Ganon actually throws his spear in A Link to the Past. So, and Kai, I don't know if you're still here in Twitch chat. If you are still here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you played A Link to the Past, you'll see that sometimes Ganon will like toss his trident, he'll spin it around, and then he'll just toss it and it'll kind of like spin around in a circle before he grabs it back. This definitely kind of gave me a lot of reference to like Link to the Past, like with the whole like, oh, like Raoru takes the Zonai Spear, he throws it, it spins around way before he catches it. I mean, obviously we got to see Yuga Ganon do this in Link Between Worlds, but see like the way like going back right here, like okay, so Raoru tosses it, and then from this shot right here, he catches it. He obviously catches it. So honestly, it's a really cool piece of detail. Really cool piece of detail. And then, going a little bit forward right here. Okay, so to me, this is obviously a new scene. This is without a doubt a new I believe this is definitely without a doubt a new cutscene. Something that we weren't familiar with back in Tears of the Kingdom and seeing through some of the Dragon tier memories. I mean, obviously we got to see some Dragon tier memories of like Ganondorf and the rest of Gerudo's definitely looking over the desert. Like one scene in particular, if you guys remember, there was a memory to where you see Ganondorf and the rest of the Gerudos, and then Ganondorf definitely sends off all these Moldugas to attack. So maybe this could probably be before or after this occurs. Honestly, there's no telling. So I kind of have a feeling that we are probably going to learn more about Ganondorf. I mean, obviously, we got to see some memories in Tears of the Kingdom where we got to experience Ganondorf, such as like him trying to like swear allegiance to Rauru, him killing Queen Sonia and taking her secret stone to become the Demon King, sending off all those Modugas to attack. Like, I feel like there is definitely is going to be more to this cutscene. We probably are going to go more details from Ganondorf's point of view. Maybe we'll probably get to play as him, kind of like how in the original Hyrule Warriors. If you guys remember in the original Hyrule Warriors, there was a segment to where you actually got to play as the villains themselves. You got to play as Ganondorf, you got to play as Girahim and Zant, but you got to play as the villains. So I feel like there's probably going to be a segment to where you actually get to play as Ganondorf and get to experience his point of view before everything happened. You know, before he starts launching his attacks throughout Hyrule, before he kills Queen Sonia. I feel there is definitely going to be a gameplay perspective from Ganondorf's point of view. Just like how we got to play as Ganondorf in the original Hyrule Warriors. So, honestly, I think that would be really cool. Wouldn't that be so cool? That we actually got to play as Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf. I mean, because honestly, kind of like playing as the trio themselves, like the Triforce trio, that would be so fucking sick. Like, obviously, we got to play as Link, Age of Imprisonment. We get to play as Zelda, but playing as Ganondorf himself, dude, wouldn't that be so sick? That would be so fucking cool. That would be so cool. I want to play as Ganondorf in this game. I really want to play as him. I think it would be so cool. But here's one thing I definitely do want to ask. In terms of like in terms of speaking of Ganondorf. Let's see if I can find it. There has to be a picture somewhere. Okay, I want to look at some of the there definitely has to be one of the memories that explains it. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can definitely find the cutscene to kind of like excuse me, definitely see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, maybe, okay, it's got to be in here. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe see if I can find it so that way you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Kai said, I need to play as Daddy. I need to play as my dad. I need to play as Ganondorf. I do need to play as him. I think it would be really cool that we get to play as him. Now, okay, hang on. Okay, going a little bit back. Okay, right here. I have a theory. I have a theory that we're going to definitely learn more about Ganon's army of Gerudos. Like, obviously, we see Gerudos who definitely swear allegiance to Ganondorf. But these two specifically, these two Gerudos right here in front, the two wearing the golden masks. Now, I've seen a lot of people theorize that these two right here definitely symbolize and reference Ganondorf's surrogate mothers, Koyumi and Kotake. For those of y'all who probably are familiar with them in Ocarina of Time, obviously known as Twin Rova, we obviously got to see Koyumi and Kotake in Majora's Mask as well. But I want to say that these have to be Koyumi and Kotake. They have to be. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I would be shocked if it was not them. But considering that these two look like they are twins, because Koyumi and Kotake are twins, except to kind of like tell the difference between the two of them, they have like a different gemstone. Like one is like red for fire, one is blue for ice. So I feel like that these two right here, these probably have to be Twin Rova. And I feel that we probably might get to learn about, maybe play as him. Maybe play as him. Like, that would be so sick. Like, not only play as Ganondorf, dude, maybe play as Twin Rova. Like, maybe like one of these Gerudos can definitely use like some sort of like fire magic. One can use ice, just like in Ocarina of Time. Like, dude, wouldn't that be so cool? Getting to play as Koyumi and Kotake. Like, that would be so cool. I would like to definitely make them as playable characters alongside Ganondorf. Honestly, I think that would be really cool. That itself would be so fucking sick. I would love to play as the twins, as the Gerudo twins, as Ganondorf's surrogate mothers. So anyway, kind of going back. So going back further. Okay, let's move on to... Okay, this one right here. Okay, so here, definitely right here, we see Raru's sister, Minoru, definitely riding one of the Zonai devices. And obviously we see her in the underground. I believe this enemy is called a Frox, as long as I remember. Those are definitely the ones who definitely carry like the little Zonai crystals, so where you can go to like the little construct factories to get some more Zonai parts and stuff like that. So obviously it looks like we are going to be able to play as Minoru and definitely fight underground enemies like this one right here. This one right here in particular. This one right here. Wait, hold on. I want to get another good shot. I want to see if I can pause it. Let me see if I can pause it. Oh my god, no. Okay, no, I went too bad. I went too forward. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, this one right here. I want to talk about this construct, this Zonai construct specifically. This one right here, we have actually seen this construct before in Tears of the Kingdom. We have seen this one specifically. Now, to reference, okay, to pretty much talk about what I mean. So this one, that construct that we see right here in this shot, is this one right here. Maybe I can get like a bigger shot or something, like a bigger screen. Let me see. You know what? Let's kind of click on it just real quick. Okay. See if I can make it big. Okay. This one right here, like this right here, the same construct right here. This is the seized construct that Link and Minoru actually fight in the Spirit Temple in the underground chasms. This is the same one. The reason why I say that, because you can definitely tell by the face. Obviously it's not red because it's not, infested with the gloom. But we can definitely tell from the face. They definitely do have the same face, except with different colored eyes. They do have like the same arms. The same arms and stuff like that. These two right here. These little arms in the back. That is the seized construct. That is before it is infested by the gloom. And the fact that we actually get to play as the construct way before it is like infested with gloom, I think it's actually is really sick. Because if you guys remember, in the underground chasm, Link actually has to construct, has to make a new Zonai body, a new construct for Minoru in order for her to move around. But we do end up fighting this construct in the Spirit Temple in Tears of the Kingdom. So I think it's actually is really cool that we do get to play as a boss that we get to fight in Tears of the Kingdom. And I think it's really sick. Like, obviously we see like there's 4 rockets on his back. We get to see like all these kind of different weapons, kind of like what we can use, what we can kind of give to Minoru. Where you can use like lasers and rockets and cannons, spike balls, pretty much anything you guys can think of. And I'm sure most of you guys have been really creative with Minoru's new construct body, to where you guys can like, oh, you want to like fuse like maybe like a rocket or a spike ball, cannonballs or lasers or something. I'm sure you guys were really creative. For those of you who have played Tears of the Kingdom. But I don't know about this one. Maybe we might be able to like maybe customize the before it becomes the siege construct. Maybe we'll get to customize it. Maybe give it like a new like arm cannon or laser or something for like combat purposes. Like I feel like that would be really cool. Now that would be really, really cool though. And then right here, obviously, we see Rauru extremely, extremely pissed off, like, about something. Maybe it's probably because, like, Ganondorf is creating all these monsters from gloom, and, like, it's attacking Hyrule and all that kind of stuff. So, that is definitely my guess. It has something to do with, like Rauru being pissed something. Now, right here, obviously, we see Zelda in her Zonai dress, and the way how she fights... I see it right here. You can definitely see like she is using recall to fight. And I kind of noticed the same thing with Rauru. Is that Rauru, when he was using his battle mechanics, he was definitely using some of the abilities that Link gets to use, like the Ultra Hand. So I feel like that with Rauru and Zelda, that we probably might get to use like Zonai abilities. Like Rauru will be Ultra Hand. Princess Zelda would be recall. I mean, heck, maybe Sonia can probably use something for fusion or something. Like, that would be really interesting. So, we can definitely see right here, because, like, even in one of the memories, like, way before Queen Sonia dies, to where she is getting distracted by a phantom Princess Zelda, Zelda herself uses recall to stop the weapon from attacking Queen Sonia way before Ganondorf comes in with a surprise attack. So we see right here that Zelda is definitely going to be able to use recall as like an ability to fight, which honestly I think is really cool. It's really fitting for Zelda. Listen. Back when Ultimate came out, Sakurai said that Zelda in Breath of the Wild could not fight because she sticks to researching. I don't know how it explains it right here, Sakurai. You tell me that she cannot fight. You tell me why you couldn't pick her for Smash. You tell me, Sakurai, what's going on over there? What's going on over there, Sakurai? Hey, next Smash game, put in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda. Make it happen. Okay, so right here, this is definitely as important. This is another important shot. Here we have all the sages. We have all the sages right here, and obviously this takes place after Sonia's passing. So we have all the sages right here. We have Zelda, who is the Sage of Time. We have Rauru. We have his sister Minoru. And then we have these four right here, these old ancient ancestors. The ones who we actually got to experience that both Riju, Tulin, Yunobo, and Sidon got to confront before they took on the responsibility of becoming the new sages. Now, I do have a feeling that I believe we are going to play as these new sages, but one thing that we never got to know, that we never got to ask ourselves, one thing that Tears of the Kingdom did not confirm were the names of these ancient sages right here. So I kind of have a little bit of a theory of my own. And I mean, maybe I could be wrong once we find out new information. Excuse me. But here is my theory on what I believe are going to be the names of these 4 sages right here, the ones wearing the masks. So, hear me out. And I feel like this would make sense. So, the names of these 4 sages, who I believe they are going to be named, are Meadow, Naboris, Ruta, and Rudania. Obviously, you guys know where I'm getting at. These are the same names as the divine beast that we are familiar with in Breath of the Wild. And I definitely want to say that these 4 were the original pilots, way ahead of course, Mipha, Revali, Urbosa, and Daruk's time. So, and the probably reason why the divine beasts have, those fancy names like Naboris, Meadow, Ruta, and Rodania, they are references to the ancient sages of old, aka these 4 right here. And the only reason why I say that is because their facial mask symbolizes the front of each of the 4 divine beasts that we get to explore in Breath of the Wild. Like, obviously, we see the elephant for Ruta. We see, like, the lizard for Rudania. Here's the camel for Naboris. And then the bird for Meadow. Like, it all just makes sense. It makes sense that these 4 are honestly have the names of the divine beasts that we are familiar with in Breath of the Wild. Way before that Mipha, Revali, Urbosa, and Daruk get to pilot them, way before they become new champions. This is to me, that is where the names come from for the divine beasts in Breath of the Wild. Is because they're named after these 4 with the masks right here. Meadow, Naboris, Ruta, and Rodania. Those are their names. That is my theory. My theory is that is the names. Those are without a doubt the names that we get in reference to the divine beasts in Breath of the Wild. But that is definitely is my biggest guess right there. My guess is that is definitely are the names. I'm definitely am guessing at that. Now, one thing I definitely do want to talk about is that I honestly feel that Age of Calamity, Jesus. That Age of Imprisonment is going to end off with what we know. Through Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, from Zelda's point of view, Zelda is probably... Zelda probably obviously is going to get the Master Sword from the future, thanks to Link. So she's probably going to... So I feel that in Age of Imprisonment, she is going to find a way to, like, restore it. And who knows, maybe we'll get to play as Dragon Zelda. Which, honestly, you guys know this is very important. The reason why Link got to experience the memories through the Dragon Tears was through Dragon Zelda, because Zelda herself swallowed the secret stone that she had, and by carrying the Master Sword, figured that it would be the only way to get the Master Sword and to restore it back. And mostly the main purpose was for Link to find her. Because one of the dialogue that she says in Tears of the Kingdom, where she says, "Link, you must find me." And heck, maybe we'll get to play as Dragon Zelda. I mean, you guys know that we obviously, spoiler alert, we did get to control as Dragon Zelda during the final boss fight in Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm sure we'll get to do that. Definitely control or play as Dragon Zelda. But I do feel that the way how it's going to end for Age of Imprisonment, I purposely feel that this is the way this is going to end. And I'm going to play one of the cutscenes right here. So I'm going to pause this music right here. So I purposely feel that this is how Age of Imprisonment is going to end. And then the game will end off by saying, to go more further into details, please play Tears of the Kingdom.
Stop him. However,
This is how I feel Age of Imprisonment's probably going to end.
The Demon King's power had grown far beyond anything we could have imagined. I was unable to withstand his strength. Our fight appeared all but lost. And then, Rauru. He committed himself to one final act.
That pride will be your downfall, Ganondorf! Don't be so smug. I know exactly what it will cost me.
Thousands of years will pass in the blink of an eye. You only delay the inevitable.
You're wrong. Years from now, someone will appear with the sword that seals the darkness. A swordsman with the power to defeat you. Link. Remember this name.
Link. Interesting. I look forward to meeting you.
So, that's how I feel that Tears of the Kingdom is going to end. I mean, not Tears of the Kingdom, sorry. Age of Imprisonment is going to end, you know, where Rauru definitely uses the last of his power to seal Ganondorf away and saying stuff. Link, remember that name. The person who carries the sword that seals the darkness. So I feel that is how it is going to end. That is how Age of Imprisonment is going to end. Now, one final question that I definitely do want to ask to end things off. There is one thing that we don't know about. And I definitely want, and I feel like we might get something. So, where is it? Okay. So, my question right here is who this person is actually going to be. So, okay. So, to pretty much provide context, so once you complete every single shrine in Tears of the Kingdom, you definitely are confronted with a statue of Rauru and Sonia, to where they grant you a gift, a piece of armor. And this is the armor in which it is called the Ancient Hero. Now, obviously, no, this is an ancient hero of the Zonai, and Link actually gets to wear it. So, you know, we definitely get to see the green, the blue, the red hair. Like, I definitely want to know who this actually really is. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that in some of the memories in Tears of the Kingdom, I believe Sonia definitely, so we definitely learned through Sonia telling Zelda that Zelda herself is a descendant, or I think it's like Sonia, it's one of them. But I do have a question though. Maybe it could be a possibility that that in Age of Imprisonment, we'll get to meet Rauru and Sonia's kids. Maybe, because the word descendant is mentioned when Zelda is brought up. So there could be a possibility that we'll get to meet one of Rauru and Sonia's kids. There's no telling. But I want to know more details about this ancient hero. Like, who is he? But we do know that this ancient hero was capable of wielding the Master Sword. So maybe we'll get to see him. We'll get to learn about him. Maybe Rauru or Sonia will tell a story about the ancient hero. There obviously is no telling. But I think it would be a really cool idea for us to learn more about the ancient hero. Like, I think it would be cool though. I think it would be really, really interesting. But we do have a lot going on. Obviously, there is little to what we know in Tears of the Kingdom. In Age of Imprisonment. But I do feel that later on down the line, we are going to get some more trailers in the future. Obviously, of course, this is not going to be the only trailer we get. But I feel that we are going to get more and more trailers for Nintendo to market this game, so that way everyone gets a chance to play it. For those who have experienced Tears of the Kingdom, so that way they can experience this game for themselves. So that concludes my analysis of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So that is all I have to say. Let me know in the YouTube comments, what are y'all's thoughts on Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment so far? Definitely know, like, what are your thoughts and ideas? What is something you would like to see in the future for Age of Imprisonment before the game comes out? So definitely know your thoughts on that. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for coming. And if you guys are new here to my YouTube channel, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good jazz. Really helps me out. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for being here. I hope for those of you who have played Tears of the Kingdom, I hope you guys enjoyed it. But if you are watching this video for the first time and you just finished Tears of the Kingdom, let me give you my big congratulations for completing such an incredible game. It's really good. So, let's go ahead and meet back here next month for June 3rd. We're going to meet back here on June 3rd. So for June 3rd, the next topic I'm going to be talking about is what makes Twilight Princess such a beloved game. I know there are a lot of people who really, really love Twilight Princess. And since recently, a few months ago, I did recently finish the GameCube version of Twilight Princess for the first time, I definitely want to talk about it. We definitely want to talk about it as to, like, why is it such a beloved game? Why do people love Twilight Princess so much? So that is going to be the next topic for June 3rd. Why do people love Twilight Princess? That is going to be the next topic. And I'm definitely am excited to discuss it. To definitely discuss it with you guys about, why do most people love Twilight Princess? All that stuff. So we definitely won't talk about it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and came into the podcast. We shall talk about Twilight Princess next month on June 3rd and why people actually like it. Until then, this has been Born of Kokiri, and I will see you guys for the next episode. Take care.